Okay, it's been some time since I've been able to get back at this plane. This is the Stanley Bailey that I'm working on right now. The frog is all cleaned up. Very nice. A little bit of dirt in a couple places. A couple of brass wheels need a little bit of cleaning, but they're in good shape too. And here's the rod for the tote. Nice finish put on that. Cap iron. It's been polished. Well, not polished, but cleaned up. Is that a problem there? No. Okay. Everything's going good. However, we had a couple missing screws. The screw for the front handle knob is heavily corroded. Very bad condition. So you can see. Let's see if I can focus on that. There we go. Very bad condition. Looks very weak. So I'm going to see if I could do anything to replace this. This is a very old style tread. I've been having a very hard time trying to find a replacement for that in particular. So I might have to do something to replace this. I've been toying with the idea of retapping the where it screws into. And the tote. No, the frog right here. The screw for this position was stripped out as well. That clamps down the cap iron and the iron blade. So I got an option for this one though. Went to the local hardware store and picked around with the threads a bit. I think I found a replacement right here. Might need to cut it shorter. But that looks pretty good. So yeah, definitely gonna need to make it shorter. Yeah, I'm gonna need to make it about a 1/4 inch shorter. And we're gonna have to beautify it a little bit. So let's go ahead and work on this. Okay, so I just cut a slot with a Dremel right here. Cut a nice slot for the screwdriver. It kind of matches the original. Now I don't want it looking like a hex bolt, so we're going to lathe this down with my drill bit here, my hand drill in the vise, and try to lay this down to a nice kind of domed screw. Okay, that looks pretty good. Where's my key? Now this is something that if you buy a quarter drill, you gotta do. Now we're talking. Now That's a nice fix. Okay, it's time to reinstall the frog so I can accurately cut this to the correct length. Yeah. That's okay, that's good flat. Now, I didn't do much adjustment with this plane yet, as in seeing what work needed to be done on the frog, on the mouth opening, or anything like that. I don't do much of that until I've used the plane for a while, because you don't know quite what you're going to do. Until you use plane, you don't know how it's performing, what needs to be changed, what definitely don't need to be changed. And I'm kind of a conservative guy. You don't want to change something that don't need changing. Come on. Goodness. Okay. This is obviously not the right length. Uh-oh. Don't have the adjustments pin in either. Which way does that screw on? Alright. Oh, I love brass. Let's turn this around so you can get a view. Oops. Okay, so let's not put the blade all the way down first thing. There's where it needs to be. Okay. Now this screw I'm going to tighten all the way in. I think I need to widen that slot that I got cut in there. Okay, we're going to tighten this all the way down. Into its spot. Reasonably tight. In its place there. Now this needs to rise, but we're going to cut it to that length because there's plenty of adjustment. I put it in there a long ways. 4 millimeters. So 4 treads in is where we need to be. Alright, you got it threaded in, and it's adjusted. Perfect. I think that is a quality fix. It's good adjustment. It's not too bold looking. It doesn't look like it's out of place. That's what I'm going for. Something that could have been from factory. I'm trying to make this a like new plane. Okay, let's move on to the front. Tote. This is the more trying one in my opinion. Let's move you in position here. The original, right here, is in desperate condition. This is very bad, and it wobbles. So, one of my replacements here to see if it treads in. This one right here. I didn't think it would, because the tread pattern is different, but it is the right size. Let's check an M6 is right here. This is an M6, which is a bit too big. Not quite sure what I should do here. Where's my tote here? Here's the handle knob. And once I make this round, this size bolt would be just the right size and fix. But the thread is wrong. The thing is, this plane is over 100 years old, so I was lucky that the tread for the cap iron worked. The lever cap, I should say, not the cap iron. But this one here, I couldn't find an equivalent, and I was in the hardware store for quite a while looking around. I'm guessing it's Imperial. It looks Imperial to me, but I couldn't find one, so maybe I'm gonna have to make one to fit here. Let's see what we can do. So here's the plane, finished. I wanted to go over some of the details. There's the finished new replacement part there, which turned out very good. It functions in place. I might have a little bit too tight there now. Very nice. So this restoration, I think, was very successful. I ended up using the original screw in the tote here. Not the tote, the knob. But I epoxied the knob in place. Now, I don't normally like epoxying tool handles. For one thing, it's not very traditional. But if they had epoxy back in the day, they would have used it. It's the problem is serviceability. Down the road, it will be more difficult to fix this. But the amount of damage done in the treads into this original screw, if I didn't use epoxy, I would have ended up having to do something with the sole of the plane, which I didn't want to do. So I figured if I epoxy it and it gets changed down the road, the damage you have to inflict on the plane to get this epoxy out and get this new to replace it is about the same amount of damage I'd have to do to put new hardware in there. So I'm going to try this route first. At least I keep the original handle and screw for now. Let's go back to the tote. So here's the tote. I love these handles. They're not beech. This one's not beech. I don't know what it is. It's not a rosewood. It's not beech. I don't know what it is. It looks like a maple. It could be apple wood. I didn't think of that till now. The cleaning up turned out really nice. Some Some guy painted this with black enamel oil paint, which would have been very good long-term type of paint, but it was a pain to get off, and there are still some remnants of it. Brass adjustment wheel there. I just love seeing brass on an old plane. There's something about brass that I like. Well, now's the time to put some boiled linseed oil on these totes, on the handles. I just put a couple drops in the cap of my lid. It's usually enough to do the job. Oh yeah, that'll darken it up real nice. It's really soaking it in there. Despite being a wood that's very beat up, it sure turned out nice. Now that it's oiled, I can see the reflex, which make me think it's beech, possibly an oak. Waste. Really soaking in. I have this little jar of homemade paste wax, and we'll get to applying some